Oh, now, this is a story all about how local soccer media got flipped, turned upside down. And we like to take a minute, so grab a beer so cold, and we'll tell you how we became electric gold. In White House, Tennessee, born and raised on the soccer fields was where we spent most of our days. Reading Mad Magazine and riding our bikes with a known propensity for rocking the mic. Now we're a trio of guys who are getting kinda old, cheering on the boys and gold with every bit of our soul. Screaming our heads off while drinking some beers, hoping to give Cincy and Miami something to fear. Now Evan, John and Ryan are kicking the facts about Nashville SC, and they'll never come whack. If anything, we can say the show is rare. Acoustic blue and electric gold, the only colors we wear. We pull up the Goaties about 7:38, and we yell to the refs, yo home, smell you later. We look at the castle, we feeling so bold. We sit on our thrones, we're electric gold. Electric gold.
What's up, everybody? It's Electric Gold time. We are riding high, feeling good. I'm Ryan, and I'm here with John and Evan. Boys, can it get any better than this? Life is good. Spring has sprung. Here we are, Nashville SC, riding high. How you feeling tonight?
Happier than I've ever been before for the third week in a row. 3 weeks in a row. Just increasingly happy.
Good Lord.
You know, forget the first 47 years of my life or what. I can't even remember how old I am anymore. But yeah, now is the best time.
John, you might get so happy that you just explode. You might just spontaneously combust.
Possibly.
Evan, you doing all right this evening?
Oh my gosh, boys, I am doing more than all right. I did not know that this level of happiness and contentment existed in the world. 3 weeks in a row, 3 wins. Oh my gosh. I feel like I have just begun to live.
Wow. It doesn't take much to really brighten your lives, does
Not
it?
really. No. Just the tiniest amount of happiness could send me over the top.
We all have children. That pales in comparison to 3 wins in a row.
3 wins by our favorite soccer team in a row. Throw those kids out the window. Who cares?
Well, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, and hopefully those of you who are listening are ready for an exciting conversation. Before we dig into too much soccer, though, let's talk about what beers you're drinking tonight. Evan, what are you having?
Guys, tonight I'm having the Tailgate Orange. And this is an American wheat ale, and it's light-bodied and creamy. Its sweetness is balanced by the orange zest in there, and it just makes for a really lovely beer. So just enjoying this in spring and victory, and my God, life is good.
That's a real treasure over there, those folks at Tailgate. I'm so glad we have them in town. They're amazing.
Likewise.
John, what are you having?
Yeah, I'm having a beer from the Yazoo Brewing Company in Madison, Tennessee. This one is a bit different. Yazoo, I don't really think of sours when I think of Yazoo, but man, this one is crazy. And this is a mouthful. This is an Embrace the Funk, Fooder Fruits, Passion Fruit, and Pineapple Sour Ale.
Wow. That is a lot of stuff. Goodness. It's a lot of ingredients.
It is the funkiest thing I have ever tasted. It is funkier than Bootsy Collins at a Bootsy Collins convention. I had to look this up. I didn't exactly know what a fooder is. And a fooder, for those out there, is spelled Foeder. And it's basically an oak thing that you brew beers in. And this beer is fermented with multiple funky Brettanomyces, Brettanomyces, wild yeast, and souring bacterias that lend to an ever-evolving tart, bright character. And it is just the funkiest, sourest, deliciousest thing that I've had in a minute.
Wow.
So thank you, Yazoo. This is good.
It sounds like a lot of work. Sounds like a lot of stuff's happening to make that beer.
It's a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a lot in a beer.
Well, I thought for my beer, we'd take a little drive down I-24 on down all the way to the coast to Charleston, South Carolina. to a little brewery there, Edmund's Oast Brewing Company. Have you ever heard of Edmund's Oast?
I have.
Okay.
You know I love Edmund's Oast.
I figured you probably had a little bit of knowledge about them. So what an interesting group this is. A couple of guys back in 2008, they started a beer store in Charleston, the Charleston Beer Exchange. It became a pioneer in the city promoting growlers and beers. It was still a pretty new concept because at the time state laws were just starting to change around how strong beer could be in South Carolina. And so after that, they opened a second beer store. They created the region's most renowned beer festival known as Brewvival. And then they decided that they really wanted to turn their attention to fine food and drink. So they closed the one store, sold off another, and then began a new restaurant and brew pub. So the restaurant they started first, and then they started Edmund's Oast Brewing Company in 2017. Now, as I've been investigating this and doing my research, I counted no less than 206 different beers that they have created on their website. They are prolific brewers. Yeah. Unbelievable amount of stuff. Very creative flavors. And no less than 25 different sour ales, of which one I am having tonight. This is their sour pear.
Ooh.
It is delicious, but it is sour. I mean, it is probably the most sour ale I have ever had in my life. It's good, though. It's a real different taste, a real different beer. And I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Check out Edmund's Oast Brewing Company if you have the opportunity. And I'll tell you something else. Maybe the most interesting labels and cans. They've got this wonderful illustrative style to all of their beers. And every single of one of their 206 different beers has a different design or illustration on it.
Yeah.
Really interesting, fantastic stuff. Give them a look. They're really doing some creative stuff there. So props to them.
Yeah, hats off.
Very minimalist on the design. Like it's always like a black and white can, but then just like a colorful thing right in the middle of the can.
It's really illustrative, though. It kind of like harkens back to a Renaissance sort of style, like illustrated book sort of style, or maybe like 1700s or something. It's very intricate when you look at the actual illustration itself. But you're right. Very little color, mostly all black and white, just penciled line drawings, but really intricate. So the beer's good. The artwork is great. I don't know, man. I'm just in a really celebratory mood and ready to celebrate, guys.
Yes.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Let's kick things off with a little bit of week in review. Entering this past weekend, Nashville SC was looking to make it 3 in a row after convincing wins against Portland and at Philadelphia. To do so, they would need to beat a reeling CF Montreal team that was so far languishing to begin the season with no wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw so far in league play. Despite the momentum that NSC had built in the prior weeks, though, they started the game out flat and disjointed, probably a result of a lineup shakeup. Ahmed Qasim was a late scratch for the game, and Patrick Yazbek started on the bench and ended up going to the locker room at halftime, both due to a stomach bug, while red-hot right back Andy Nahar was away on international duty with Honduras. That gave opportunities to Gabriel Brugman, Josh Bauer, and Jonathan Perez, fresh off of recess in 4th grade, as starters entering the match. Another potential cause for the lackluster play to begin the match might have been the lighting issues. Throughout the first half, there were moments where all of the lights in Geodis Park would suddenly shut off, leaving the field of play in complete darkness. A couple of these moments were critical. One happened as Hani Mukhtar was rapidly approaching the Montreal box from the right side on a breakaway run. And another happened when Montreal was forming possibly their best attack of the evening as they outnumbered the Nashville defense inside their own box and pulled Joe Willis out of position. Both moments passed without any scoring, and the half mercifully ended with a 0-0 tie and only 1 shot on goal total between both teams. The second half, however, was a completely different story. The boys in gold came out much more aggressive and lively, and because this was an incredibly weird game already, it was only fitting that one Alex Muyl broke the deadlock in the 56th minute with a nifty individual effort after receiving a really nice service from Sam Surridge. Just a few minutes later, Hani Mukhtar lobbed a corner kick to the near side of Montreal's goal, where Walker Zimmerman won a header that then ricocheted to the right post, where Josh Bauer was waiting with a well-timed header of his own to put the ball in the net. Yes, you heard me right, folks. We scored on a set piece. And just a few minutes after that, Mukhtar was once again putting his talent on display with a terrific pass to the right side for an attacking Jonathan Perez, who put the moves on the Montreal defenders to shake them free and then whip a shot past the keeper for his first goal in a Nashville uniform. The boys in gold left Geodis Park with a 3-0 victory, another 3 points in their pocket, and their best overall start to a season ever. Walker Zimmerman was named as an MLS Team of Matchday starter this week, and Jonathan Perez was named to the bench. And just today, as they now sit in last place in the East, Montreal announced the firing of their coach Laurent Courtois, as the loss was apparently their management's last straw. Nashville now sits in a 4-way tie for second place in the Eastern Conference with 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, and a goal differential of +5. Guys, we're off to the best start in the history of Nashville SC. We have the most wins after 5 games, the most goals after 5 games, the most points, the highest goal differential after 5 games that we've ever had. We got to be feeling good. What's your initial thoughts on this game, John?
Yeah, we talked about it last week in the preview. We talked about this being a trap game where, in the past we've underestimated teams that were below us in the standings. And for the first half, it looked like old NSC. It was looking kind of bleak. But this, my friends, is Nashville SC 2.0. We came out in that second half. We said, we're better than you. We're better than you. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who's out there. We have better players than you, and they showed it. It was beautiful. It was glorious. I, myself included, I keep seeing the phrase, "Oh, we're so back. We're back, baby." Boys and girls, we're not back. We're better than we've ever been. This is the best Nashville SC that I have seen.
Wow. It's just a small sample size. You feel confident in saying that, right?
Small sample size, I know, but it's beautiful to watch right now. It's next man up. It doesn't seem to matter who we've got in. We have depth. We have a philosophy in place. We have a plan, and long may it continue. It is really fun to watch right now.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Evan, what are your thoughts on this game?
Very similar. I feel like the Nashville 2.0 era officially began when the second half whistle blew Saturday night against Montreal. And now I have seen it both ways in the post-match review articles. And so I actually want to pose a question to you guys, maybe like a little brief interlude into Soccer 101.
Okay.
Because I've seen it both ways. And I couldn't tell from my vantage point in the supporter section. I was a little bit down low. The goal was blocking a little bit of the play on the far half. So did Callaghan pull Brugman back a little bit more, a little deeper lying in the second half to orchestrate, or was he already back there and he pushed him up a little bit to support the forwards? I've seen it both ways in the press, and that's why I want to ask you guys, what did you see in that respect?
I can't 100% answer that, but I did notice him winning the ball constantly. Yeah. Any time that we turned the ball over deep, it seemed like Brugman was the guy that was winning it back. Yeah. Especially on that first goal. It was a pass that he made, and then there was a turnover, and he won it back and set up the flow from there.
Exactly. And I watched that replay, and Tag Seth was up ahead of him. Perez was up ahead of him. I believe Muyl was too. Well, obviously he was. But so I guess that's what happened. He must have pulled him back a little bit to orchestrate more. And that right there is what we were hoping to see. When things weren't working, we could make a tactical change that would bring about results. So again, my reaction is Nashville 2.0 is officially underway. John, you're right. We are better than ever. Sam Surridge's ball to Muyl.
Amazing.
That was pure genius. And that wasn't his only bit of brilliant playmaking in this match. So he didn't get on the score sheet Saturday night, but everybody's buying in. Everybody's doing what Callaghan needs them to do and just playing brilliant, beautiful soccer. And that's leading to these goals and these wins.
Yeah, I was standing right behind you, Evan, so I don't know that my vantage point was any better in terms of being able to analyze Brugman. But my impression was that it took him a half to really get synced with the rest of the team. He hasn't played much with the team up to now, up until this weekend. I don't think he had started any game yet. This was his first start this season.
No, like 10 minutes total, maybe. Yeah.
So I think he needed that half to just kind of get his legs, to get acquainted with the team, to sort of feel everything out. But it didn't take him long to start to make an impact. And by the second half, I think he was starting to feel it a little bit more. And like you said, he was sort of the focal point of setting up the offense, in the second half. And of course, it was pretty brilliant there. There was that 10, 12-minute stretch where, we were just on fire, and it was one after the other. I couldn't even keep up with it. So I know that the view wasn't as terrific standing in the supporters section, but I want to ask you, how much fun was it standing over there and enjoying the game from that section?
It was the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
Oh my God. We had so much fun. Yeah, it was nuts. I've always enjoyed my time down there in the supporter section, but just being there, it was my first match of the season, and just a lovely evening, goals pouring in the second half, spontaneous chants breaking out, we want 4 and all this other kind of stuff. It was insane in the best possible way.
We were getting showered with various beers as well. It's just great. You even may have gotten hit in the head with one, but it was all worth it in the end. All right, well, let's keep this gravy train rolling. Let's get into a little bit of hell yeah. And Evan, we will start with you. What is your hell yeah moment of this week?
My hell yeah moment was when the birthday boy, Hani Mukhtar, got his 2 goal contributions, tying him with the great Roy Lassiter for 7th all time in Major League Soccer. And, going into the match, if I remember correctly, they said he needed 1 to tie Landon Donovan through 150 matches. He got 2. He jumped Landon Donovan. Guys, when you are mentioned in the same sentence as Landon Donovan and Roy Lassiter, you have really stamped your place in MLS history. And so for Hani to do that and to start to really fit into this newer role for him, which is not necessarily the focal point for the scoring, but as a key contributor and playmaker. Oh, hell yeah, Hani, you go.
Hell yeah. His 30th birthday. Yep. So he's got some time left to go. And I don't necessarily know if his future will always be in the MLS. I think certainly for the foreseeable future, it will be. I think this is home for him now. And he, like you say, he has a chance to go down in the history books if he's already 7th and, there's just so much more he can accomplish. And he's only 30 years old. There's still lots of life left in those legs. So it's exciting stuff. John, give us an all hell yeah moment.
My all hell yeah. It's not really a moment, but like just in general, I hope we're not headed for a heartbreak, but our wingers are playing out of their minds.
Yeah.
The wingers in general on this club are doing things I did not think was possible. Kassem, he couldn't make it. He got sick before the game. Who steps in but Jonathan Perez? Next man up, Jonathan Perez. Boys, He put on a show in that second half.
He did.
Not only the goal, but he took one where he dribbled past like 3 or 4 dudes and took it all the way to the end line, and they made a last-ditch clearance. He was amazing. Alex Muyl on that left side is putting in the work. He has improved so much since BJ Callaghan took over.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good at the end of last season. He's continued it good this year. You can just count on Alex Muyl being good now, and that is crazy.
Yes, that is crazy.
he's been fantastic. Our wing play is just Saturday night and all season, but Saturday night in particular, because it was 2 players we wouldn't have expected to be amazing. I was just like, oh, hell yeah. Jonathan Perez and Alex Muyl, you both put in the work. I love our wing play this season. Guys, we haven't even used Jacob Schaufelberg and obviously Tyler Boyd. We've got them just waiting in the traps. We have so many good wing players that we can put in and get it done.
Yeah.
It's all new. I can't even describe how excited I am about this. We have so many good players. I was watching a game with my brother, and Perez, when he made the first run that didn't end up in the goal, he turns to me, he goes, "Who is that?" He hadn't seen it before. I was like, "Yeah, that's Johnny Perez, and he's as good as anybody we've been playing. You know, he's like our 5th or 6th guy on the depth chart, and he's still doing it." Man, I love these wingers, man. This is fun. That's like my favorite thing to watch is guys beating guys on the outside and taking it all the way to the end line. And Jonathan in particular, man, I love Johnny Perez.
I do too. And when he came to us late last year and he got some action in some of those late games where they didn't matter anymore, we were pretty much out of the playoff contention or whatever. I thought he was so impressive. And it was really exciting to see after such a dull season, he was just that little bit of spark at the end that made me interested to watch the games. In fact, the last 2 or 3 games, that was all I really cared about was watching Perez, to be honest. I was like, okay, Here's somebody we can latch on to for the future. Again, we've got such a plethora of good players now that he hasn't seen much action yet, but he got that opportunity Saturday night, and boy, did he take advantage of it. So well done. I also want to just give a quick shout out to Muyl. He's probably my favorite player to just to watch and make fun of. And what do we call him? What's his name that we like to call him?
The Millersville Messi.
The Millersville Messi, buddy. He has no fear. He does not care. He's going to get out there and he's going to be wild. And he's been inconsistent at times. But I do think that you're right, that Callaghan's coaching and style and approach and strategy or whatever is definitely enhancing his game. I really think you're talking about the wingers. It's this bringing the defenders, the wing defenders up and making them a part of the offense. They used to pin back and just kind of hedge off the defense to make sure nobody could attack us from the sides back there. But these guys, Lovitz, and then whether it's been Nahar or Bauer Saturday night, just really thrusting upward and getting into the offense and helping to serve those balls up to those guys, I think is making a huge difference in what this team is able to accomplish.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, and think about this change too. This just occurred to me, but how many pointless crosses have you seen, since Callaghan came, but especially this season? How many pointless crosses have you seen?
Hardly any.
I could probably count them on one hand.
Yeah.
We don't play that way anymore. Remember how we used to just do that? What'd they call it? The golden horseshoe? Just pass it around, back and forth. And then when we got, just completely frustrated, just hit a pointless cross. We don't do that anymore.
Right. Yeah. Everything's with intention, and it goes through the middle. The one that Perez got came from the left. Hani receives it in the middle. He turns it, serves it over to Perez on the right, and set him up beautifully to be able to make that score. We crossed the field in a matter of just a few seconds, and Montreal had nothing for that. I mean, their defense could not react quick enough. We are doing some really interesting, creative things. It is the most fun NSC team that we have ever had. So it's a beauty to watch. I almost hate to do it, but we do need to go into all hell no. And there's got to be something that you guys could pick out. John, we'll start with you. What's your all hell no moment?
The only down point of the whole game for me, and I'll preface this by saying I love the building out of the back. A lot of people don't. I like the idea of passing around the back because it lures the other side to keep pushing forward, trying to steal the ball away from you. And then if you make that one pass into midfield, all of a sudden you got a 5-on-5, 5-on-4. And I really think it's the way to play. But if we have it pinned down in our box, please don't pass back to Joe Willis.
Yeah.
Joe might not be the best guy for that particular style of play. I think we should totally attempt to build out of the back. But if your options are between pass to Joe with pressure on or kick it out of bounds, let's take the latter on that one. Mm-hmm. Because the only chance Montreal had in the whole game, and if it wasn't for an amazing goal line clearance by Jack Mayer, we would have been one down in that first half because they closed down on Joe. It almost went in, but luckily it didn't. And it had me saying, "Oh, hell no, Joe." It wasn't particularly Joe, though. I feel like the blame kind of is on the pass back to him. You got to know your players, and Joe is not Manuel Neuer. Joe is not Marc-Andre ter Stegen. He's not that guy who can just dribble out of the back. Joe Willis is Joe Willis, and we have to play with the players we got. Don't pass back to him in the middle of the goal. That's all I'm saying. If that's your last option, kick it out of bounds. Defend the throw in. So yeah, other than that, that's the only hell I know I got.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Joe's been pretty great this season. I mean, the game before he was unbelievable, but those are the shakiest moments of the season so far. Is like he gets a little bit out of position, or they put pressure on him on a weak pass backward to him. It can be a little bit scary. Evan, have you got an all hell nah moment for us?
Yeah, I do. You alluded to it earlier. And that's when I got clonked in the head with a half full can of beer the other night. Of course, we scored that goal. I think it was goal number 3. I blacked out, I think, but we scored that goal. I'm turning around, giving everybody the high fives. You know, I'm circling the clock. I turn around to about my 5 o'clock there to give the high five, and all of a sudden, I just get absolutely shellacked with a missile of a beer can. Sloane's eyes got as big as dinner plates. I think she was expecting my eyes to roll back in the back of my head and me to fall over. But anyway, look, my friends in the supporter section, I love the beer shower. I don't like
the hail,
projectile missiles,
beer hail.
Yeah, I don't like beer hail. Okay, let's think that one through a little bit. Let's don't throw half full cans of beer because somebody really could get hurt. So anyway, next time you think about doing that, just say to yourself, "Oh hell no, I ain't gonna throw this beer. I'm gonna drink it and enjoy it."
Yeah,
I'm gonna shotgun it.
Yeah, I love a good Nashville SC goal as much as the next guy, but that's not gonna make me throw away a good half can of beer. I mean, I'm not a monster. Oh my gosh,
that's like that's half a week's paycheck for some people.
Yeah, gosh.
With stadium prices for sure. I just want to interject here. I'm a little bit surprised that neither of you wanted to mention, well, I'll just say there's a new chant in the supporter section now. And I don't know if you picked up on it from watching it from home, John, but it goes a little bit like this. NES. NES. That was a new chant we heard in the section this game. What is the deal with the lights? What was going on? I mean, I think that it went out maybe 5 or 6 different times. The stadium completely went dark in the middle of play. It wasn't even like in between play or like, during a throw in or something. It was just like they're dribbling down the field and all of a sudden the lights go out. Again, one of the times Hani was really coming on strong. And then another time they probably were going to score on us.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah.
And gone up 1-0. So I don't know. I haven't heard a clear explanation of what the hell was going on. Some sort of technical issue. They did resolve it by halftime and and the second half went just fine. They actually kicked the lights up a notch. It was like, on like a 5, and then all of a sudden it was at a 10, and we were like, whoa, it's lit up like a Dairy Queen here. So
Waffle House.
I don't know. I mean, if I was given an all hell no out, it would be to the lighting team at Geodis on Saturday night. That was not your finest performance, and a little bit embarrassing in front of a Canadian team, gotta say.
Well, I'm gonna paraphrase a Nashville legend here. It was the night that the lights went out in Geodis.
Exactly.
Come on, you had to do it. I had to do it. Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, we are well on our way to BJ Callaghan's 50-goal proclamation he made for this season. In this game, we scored goals 6, 7, and 8. We're 5 goals in. We have 29 games to go to get 42 goals. Totally doable with our current pace. And of course, I don't know that I expect us to score 3 goals every game, but I don't know. Why the hell not? Yeah. Anyway, with each goal that we score this season, we are taking turns and presenting one of our favorite things. Just from life, could be music, movies, television, activity, whatever you want it to be. And last time we went around, I think I went, then Evan, then John. So it's my turn again. And so I wanted to pull out something that is a fairly recent favorite thing for me. I think this guy has been around for a while. It's a musician, but I'm just finding out about him or learning about him through different YouTube deep dives. His name is Jesse Wells. Have you guys ever heard of Jesse Wells at all?
I have not.
Don't believe so.
This is the Gen Z Bob Dylan.
Ooh.
This guy, well, I guess he's Gen Z. He's born in 94. Is that millennial or Gen Z? I don't even know. I can't keep track of it anymore.
I can't even tell you the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. The point is this guy is maybe a little bit insane, but he is such a songcraft. I mean, he is just an amazing singer-songwriter. He's got, I don't know how many songs on YouTube, a blue million of them. I mean, just dozens and dozens and dozens of songs. He's been a performer for probably well over a decade, maybe 15 years even. He used to be in a couple of different indie bands, but he's been performing as a solo artist for quite some time now. And if you look him up on YouTube, you'll find a number of his videos that he's recording. He just basically goes out in the middle of nowhere, like in the woods with an acoustic guitar, and he'll record like next to some train tracks or in an abandoned bus or whatever. And his songs are so well written. His lyrics are amazing. They are very timely and current. Like he had a song about the assassination of the healthcare executive maybe like a month or two ago, like right on the heels of it happening. I mean, he's writing songs so quickly, and he's releasing like one every 3 or 4 days. He's got a new song up. Mm-hmm. It's pretty prolific, his writing. And he absolutely has the cleverness of turn of phrase and everything that I would absolutely compare to like a Bob Dylan or somebody like that. When he was growing up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, his musical influences were, of course, folk and country, classic rock, Motown, Beatles, Bob Dylan, Nirvana, a combination of different styles. But he's also cited some of his greatest inspirations as Walt Whitman, Herman Melville, Cormac McCarthy, and Mark Twain. So,
wow,
this dude is something else.
That's heavy stuff.
And he's only 30 years old. He's brilliant. In my mind, he is probably the most genius young songwriter that we have in America. He's an American treasure, and I highly encourage everyone to check out Jesse Wells. He's really amazing.
Love it. Oh, I'm going to check it out right after we finish recording.
He's got some funny songs. He's got some sad songs. He's got really political songs. He's got something for everybody. So that was for goal number 6, which was the Alex Muyl goal. Evan, you get to do the Josh Bauer goal number 7 of the season. And what is your favorite thing for that goal?
My favorite thing for that goal is the Mossy Ridge Trail at Percy Warner Park. Guys, I love a good hike, and this might be my favorite trail in the Middle Tennessee area. I like to load up my All Trails app and find new trails all the time, but 2 or 3 times a year, I always have to go back and enjoy the changing of the seasons at the Mossy Ridge Trail. It's a 4.5-mile loop. It winds up and down wooded hills and hollows. It crosses several springs and open meadows. It's even got a short little spur trail that leads to an overlook that's designated as a quiet point where you can go and just contemplate life or take a little rest break, whatever you need to do. But guys, I love to go hiking, and I especially love to hike the Mossy Ridge Trail.
Love it.
Yeah. Getting in touch with nature. That's the way to do it right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, maybe I'll bump into Jesse Wells next time I'm out there.
Like I said, he goes. So I think he lives in Nashville. I'm not certain on that. I know he moved here at one time, and he just goes out into places like that, and that's where he records his videos. So you might very well come across him. That's funny. How far away did you say that was from Nashville proper?
Oh, it's just at the Percy Warner Park.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it's just right there, down West End. I go to the Deep Well Trailhead when I go. I think there's a couple different ones, but that's my personal favorite, Deep Well Trailhead. If you plug that into your map, it's an easy drive from anywhere around here, and I just love it. Such a great trail.
Wonderful. Okay, John, what's your favorite thing for Jonathan Perez's first goal as a boy in gold?
Well, I got to celebrate Jonathan. So my favorite thing that I'm going to add to the list, and this could be ironic given the name of both a supporters group for Nashville SC and another podcast. I love mixtapes. I love a lot of obsolete media, to be honest with you, but mixtapes in particular, I lived for mixtapes. I could create a mixtape for anyone that would change their life. And that's not even boasting. Like, I'm just telling you the truth. I love the idea of someone putting a lot of thought into something. I kind of live through it now with the Spotify playlist that we have for our podcast.
Yeah.
I love putting that together probably more than any other aspect of the podcast because I really love putting these playlists together, but it's still not as personal as sitting there with an actual physical object, a mixtape. And I called them pause button mixtapes. I don't know if people even know what that means anymore, but like you would actually hit the pause button and kind of record bits and pieces of different songs and kind of put them together in kind of a remix, and you could throw in like, I don't know, a theme to a TV show or music from a movie or like clips from a movie, like quotes or whatever. It's something about the curation of it. And that I think is lost in modern times. Everybody just kind of wants to put together a playlist that isn't as personal to me as a mixtape was. And I love mixtapes. I still put them together for nobody. For nobody at all. Because
for you.
Yeah, I put them together for myself. And I'm sorely tempted. I thought about this earlier today. I was like, I think there's something like 350 songs on our Spotify playlist right now. Everybody listen out there. I might just put together an actual physical mixtape that includes something from all of those 350 songs.
Oh, wow.
And maybe we have a website and I make that available, or I don't know, I'll just give it to people. I don't want to sell it.
We could have a contest and give it away to people,
That'd be awesome.
So I have a personal story here to contribute to this.
Yeah.
Because in 90, it was 8th or 9th grade, John, you made me a mixtape. And it absolutely did change the trajectory of my musical taste as a result of that. So when you say that you love making mixtapes and change people's lives, I'm an actual product of that.
Yeah. That's
you
awesome.
made it.
Makes me feel so good.
Yeah. I remember it vividly because you made a mixtape, and most importantly, you included Faith No More on that tape. And that really opened my mind to that style of music and prepared me for what was to come for the next 5-6 years in popular music with grunge and everything else. I would not have been ready for that or been as receptive to any of that if it hadn't been for the mixtape that you made me that had Faith No More on it. So
That makes me feel so good, man.
Yeah.
No, for real. Like, I saw the future and I knew where it was going.
You had your finger on the pulse.
I had to prepare people.
Yeah. And I probably still got that mixtape somewhere in a box somewhere, like in my attic or something. I think I probably still got it. I never threw any of that stuff away. So it's around somewhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah.
You elevated it to an art there, didn't you, bud?
I tried really hard. The funniest one I ever remember making, I made for a mutual pal of ours that we went to school with who was a professional musician himself. I was like, okay, man, we were both listening to like a lot of Chicago house music in the late 90s. That was our vibe. We were listening to lots of dance music. And I was like, I'm going to make you the best Chicago house mixtape there ever was. I went home and I put together an hour of all of my favorite Kate Bush tracks. And I gave it to him. And like 2 days later, he was like, that was the best tape I've ever heard in my entire life. It changed his whole career. He was like, I don't even listen to the house music anymore. I'm all about Kate Bush now.
And 25 years later, she became a hit on Stranger Things. So
there you go. Yep. She came back around.
You really can see the future through John's mixtapes. So that's fantastic. All right, boys, let's get back to our podcast. Let's do some Nashville hot chicken takes.
My hot chicken take is that these owners got skills to shake, entertain the crowd and get on the field. 'Cause why the fuck not?
John, we'll let you start. What's your hot take this week?
My hot take. Get ready for it. BJ Callaghan is winning MLS Coach of the Year.
Hell yeah. I could believe that.
The best thing that a coach can do, you know, I think a lot of casual soccer fans will think about, you know, the best coaches in Europe. They'll think of Pep Guardiola or Hansi Flick or Jurgen Klopp or whoever. But those guys are always working with players that are at the top of the game. Most coaches don't have the best players in the world constantly available to them. So for a coach in a league like MLS, the best thing that a coach can do is improve the players that he has. And can you think of any Nashville SC player that isn't playing at least as good, if not better than he was last year? You think about Alex Muyl is playing so good. Jonathan Perez is playing so good.
Jack Mayer is playing a lot better.
Jack Mayer is playing amazing. Walker Zimmerman is playing back up to his top level.
Love it.
Dan Lovitz is playing fantastic. Andy Nahar is playing fantastic. Since players that were on other teams are also playing fantastic. BJ Callaghan, he has these people believing in themselves. And I don't want to be saying that he's Ted Lasso or whatever, but like, he's getting the most out of what he's got.
He might be better than Ted Lasso.
I would say he's better than Ted Lasso.
He actually knows the rules.
Right. He knows the rules of the sport. But, I mean, BJ, man, I have a list of all the experts, so-called experts at the start of the year who picked us for last place. I know we're only 5 games in. Maybe the season goes to shit. I don't know. But I have that list of people that picked us to do nothing saved. And if I'm correct, I'm going to let those motherfuckers know about it.
Yeah, we are.
And the reason, if we defy those expectations, is going to be BJ Callaghan. This guy can coach, just flat out.
Hell yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. Coach of the Year, BJ Callaghan. Looks like it's happening. We'll see what the season how the season plays out. But that's a hot take. But from my seat, doesn't look that hot. It looks like a foregone conclusion.
Oh, yeah.
Evan, what's your hot take tonight?
Boys, 1 week from tonight, not only will we be sitting in first place in the Eastern Conference, guys, we will be first place in the Supporters Shield standings. Charlotte is going to lose to Colorado. Miami and Philly are going to tie. And I'm telling you, Toronto is going to beat Vancouver, and we are going to be at the top of the Supporters Shield standings 1 week from tonight.
Wow.
I like
That's
it.
hot.
I like it.
That's spicy.
That is spicy. Let me just kind of put a little bit more, little cayenne on there, and then we don't let it go for the rest of the season.
Oh.
We stay there the rest of the way. How about that?
Oh, my God. Yes.
Those are some hot takes. I'm in for all of it. Things are just coming together. Gosh, I hope we're not jinxing ourselves. That's my only worry.
We've been right. Hey, we've been right for what, 3 weeks in a row now.
We have. We've been right on point.
It only makes mathematical sense that we're going to be right forever.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the weekend preview. The upcoming weekend is a rivalry week in the MLS, and that means it's time for the boys in gold to face off against Cincinnati. Nashville will host Cincy at Geodis Park in what promises to be a heightened atmosphere for fans and players alike. Nashville, as we've mentioned, is off to their best ever start, sitting in a tie for second place in the East. Meanwhile, Cincy has a mildly disappointing start to the season, sitting in a tie for 9th place in the East with a record of 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, and a goal differential of -2. Most recently, they hosted Atlanta and played to a 2-2 tie. Cincinnati is still adjusting to major changes on their roster. In the offseason, they traded away star midfielder Luciano Acosta to FC Dallas. Then they acquired Portland's 26-year-old star Evander in another trade as they sought to get younger in the heart of their lineup. While it's evident that the team is still getting used to the changes, there's no denying that they have a depth of talent on the roster that should only be ignored at one's own peril. Once again, Nashville will be facing off against a formidable foe, and they will look not only to their players, but also to the home crowd for the edge in this upcoming Eastern Conference showdown. Boys, it's time for you to break out the crystal ball. Evan, we'll let you start first. What do you see in there in your crystal ball?
That's right. I'm unveiling my crystal ball, gazing deeply into it, and seeing that we are going to absolutely wreck Cincinnati 3-0 with goals from the milkman, Jack Mayer.
Okay.
Eddie Tagseth is going to get on the score sheet for the first time. Hani Mukhtar will get another goal. And it is going to be glorious. It is going to be perfect. And you just thought you felt good right now. You just wait and see how you feel after we beat Cincinnati.
Oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. John, does your crystal ball show anything different?
Oh, man. My crystal ball shows a tighter game. I will say that.
Okay.
My crystal ball sees one of the best soccer games that you will ever see in your life. And I think Cincinnati's going to score twice. And I think Nashville SC is going to score 3 times.
Hell yeah.
We're going to win, baby. We got to beat Cincy.
Yeah.
We got to beat them at home. Here's the goals. I'm going with Walker Zimmerman getting a first goal of the season. I'm going with Ahmed Kassem coming back from the illness, getting 1. And what the hell? Alex Muyl with the 89th minute winner.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. I mean, the greatest moment in sports history. It'd be fantastic.
Pandemonium will ensue.
Look, I don't know what's going to happen. I do think we're going to win. I think we look really great, and the momentum's going to continue. But I know this. If you are a Nashville SC fan at all, if you're a soccer fan, you got to show up for this game. We've got to pack Geodis Park. Look, I've been to a couple of the games so far this season. What I've seen so far is not bad. The crowd the other night was decent, but we are not anywhere close to filling up that stadium. We need to pack it full. We need that supporter section full of people doing the chants, making it loud, making the Cincy players uncomfortable, putting down the Skyline chili, building a bonfire. Yep. We need all of it. And so I implore all of you that are listening, get you a ticket and come to this game. Show up for the tailgate. Tailgate's going to be off the chain right now, I'm going to tell you. All right. Electric Gold Boys are going to be there representing, that's for sure. And
100%.
It's absolutely important that everybody turn out for this game. This is our rival, you know. This is Duke and North Carolina. This is, I don't know, what's another rival? Ohio State and Michigan.
Tennessee, Alabama.
This is Tennessee, Alabama. You know, this is Florida State. This is all of it. We got to be there for this one. So turn out, show up, and let's get these boys across the finish line for a win.
No excuses. So far, the weather looks good. Man, come on out.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this team is good and they deserve your attention.
I agree.
I've talked to more than one person over probably just in the last week, who've said, yeah, I've been meaning to go to a game. I've always meant to go to a game. I've never been to a game. I need to go to a game. Not only should you buy a ticket, just go ahead and bring a friend. Bring that person that you have spoken to.
Yes.
Who's always telling you, yeah, I mean to, yeah, I need to get out there. It looks fun. Go ahead and get them that ticket and bring them to this match.
This is the game right now, right here. This is the one. Yeah. If you're going to do it, this is the one to do it. It's going to be a beautiful night in Nashville. The temperatures are going to be great. It's not too hot yet where everybody gets real stinky.
Yeah.
You know?
no stink yet.
Speak for yourself.
It's just right. It's going to be perfect. So get your lazy asses off the couch and get out to the games. All right, guys, I'm finishing up my beer. It was delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed yours as well. What a fun night. And I just can't shake the good feelings, and I don't want to shake them. They feel so good. But before we go, John, real quick, let people know how they can get in touch with us.
Everybody, we are Electric Gold NSC. You can find us on Facebook, X formerly Twitter, Instagram. You can find us anywhere that you listen to podcasts, obviously. If you're listening to this right now, you've already found us. Duh. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Drop us a line. Tell us if we say something wrong. I have to bring up that we had a whoopsie last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we one of us, I'm not going to say who, predicted that Jacob Schaffelberg was going to score against Montreal, even though he was away with Canada. It's a whoopsie.
Yeah.
Look, we're not professionals. No one is paying us to do this shit. We are just three dudes that turn on our mics, and then we're on the internet.
It's that simple. There's really nothing more to it. Well, thanks for that, John. Thank you all for listening. It's been a pleasure, and we really appreciate the support. In the meantime, keep on cheering on these beautiful boys in gold. They're doing so well. They're playing their hearts out for you. Keep on cheering them on. Keep rooting for the team. Keep the spirits up. Keep on saying it. Come on, you boys in gold.
Come on, you boys in gold.
Come on, you boys in gold.
Dreams on Friday nights, electric vibes and stories told. Come on, you boys in gold. Waves of laughter in the air, podcast pals without a care. Sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys in gold. Waves of laughter in the air, podcast pals without a care. Sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys in gold. Electric.
Hang on. Wait a minute. Oh, it's Cincinnati time. Cincinnati, the city that time forgot and Chile forgave, where the Midwest mediocrity goes to breed. They call it the Queen City, but it's really just the court jester of Ohio, with all the charm of a parking garage and the energy of a CVS at 2 a.m. And Skyline Chili, don't get me started. It's just meat-flavored regret poured over sadness noodles. You put chocolate and cinnamon and chili and then act surprised when nobody takes you seriously. I mean, come on. It looks like something that came out of a haunted cafeteria. Any city that thinks that shredded cheddar can fix everything clearly has some deep-rooted trauma. Cincinnati is just Pittsburgh on easy mode. You built your city on a hill so everyone could get a better view of how depressing it is. Your skyline is so forgettable, even Google Images won't load it. The only thing worse than the weather in Cincinnati is everything else in Cincinnati. Well, listen, Cincinnati, Queen City, Nashville's coming for you.
The devil went up to Ohio one sunny afternoon.
with a fiery pot of chili and a spicy little tune. He met a boy named Johnny who had a recipe to share. He said, let's have a cook-off, kid, if you got the guts to dare. Oh, Johnny stirred that chili slow. The devil's pot was set to glow. The devil's chili had peppers hot and mean, but Johnny's had spices, sweet and keen. The devil grabbed some jalapenos tossed in Carolina Reap. His chili sizzled and it smoked like nothing on this earth. Johnny grinned and grabbed some cinnamon and allspice to his name. He poured it on some spaghetti and said, let's end your spicy game. The devil took a mighty bite. His face had turned dark green. What the fuck is this? He spat and threw the bowl across the scene. Is this some kind of prank? Boy, this abomination's cruel. But Johnny said, try living with Cincy spaghetti rules. The devil said, that's it, you're done. I'm taking you below to hell. Johnny chuckled back and said, oh well, at least there's no snow. The devil cursed, he stomped his feet, screamed under the hot sky. But Johnny packed his bags and said, good